Hey everybody, Annette here, also known as Grandma D. Today we are going to work on a quilt square block that I received from RebFab Stash. I am a RebFab Stash affiliate, and if you enjoy watching me put this block together and you would like to maybe have the pattern for yourself or purchase other items from Rebs, you can certainly use my affiliate link in the notes below. They are a quilt shop in Moscow, Idaho, and I have made a lot of purchases with Rebs, and I love their store. Christy and the crew out there are great. And this is the block that we are going to do today, and it is called Love Letters to Paris. Isn't that adorable? This block should finish at 12 by 12, and if you are interested, as I said, you can reach out to them, and they can probably most certainly provide you with that information to complete that block. There's one other thing that I would like to tell you. This little heart here on the front of this block, this is applique. And I use, when I applique for fusing my applique pieces on, I use Steam-A-Seam. This is a great item, and I really love it. I've used it a lot. I really enjoy doing applique, and when I do need to applique and I need to apply a piece, this is what I use. The Steam-A-Seam is a great product. You can run it through your printer, and or you can trace your items onto the sheet. It comes with multiple sheets like this that can be run through a printer if your item is a digital, and you can put them right on here. Or you can just draw it on, and I do that a lot too. I place my pattern on here, I draw it out, which is what I did on my heart piece. I already have it applied to the back of my heart for ironing down onto my fabric. The directions are on the package, but it's basically trace your item out. I don't know if you can see this side it's kind of hard to tell, but there's yellow lines on here, a grid. It's a yellow grid, and you can place your item on here, draw it out, cut it out, and then the back of this peels off, and this has sticky. This is the opposite side of the grid, and this is sticky, and it will cling to your fabric, and then you can, when you're ready, you turn it over and you peel the grid off, the grid portion off, and then it leaves this behind, which is sticky on two sides, and it will cling to your applique piece and cling to your fabric, and then you can iron your fabric down to your quilt square or whatever you're appliquing on. Really easy to use, super simple, does the trick. Everything holds up. It doesn't come up my needle. Yeah, it's a good product, so I highly recommend that. And I am an Amazon affiliate, and I purchased that off of Amazon. So if you are interested and you would like to try a package of Steam-A-Seam, if you want to use my Amazon link, you can most certainly do that. And while I'm on the topic, one other thing is I purchased this book at my local Joann's, and it's the Ultimate Applique Reference Tool Book, and it is by Annie Smith. She is a really wonderful lady, and I first learned about her on YouTube, and I don't see a lot of her on YouTube anymore. I don't know if she's retiring, pulling out, I really don't know. I did see her for a while, and she does have these books out, and she has had appliqued quilts in shows, and I have another book around here of hers that I took some designs out of when I was working on a quilt for my granddaughter, and that has been, I'm going to turn this other light on here. There we go. There we go. And that has been very helpful as well. And I have put notes in here, and I have the reason I have this book out is because this is my notation for my machine. When I applique, I know I can just glance here and it helps me remember my stitches, my stitch number, because I use the blanket stitch, and the width and the length of the stitch. I've just got a notation in there, and that's kind of like my go-to for most things, unless I have something super small. So we are going to go ahead and get started with this. I have my directions here because this is my first time doing this block as well, so I need to follow my directions. All the fabric came with fabric pieces that were big enough to cut out what I needed, and I can show you that. I have all my pieces cut out here for my quilt block, including this piece and this piece here. These are my pieces that I have pre-cut out for my quilt block. So now this first piece that we're going to do is going to create the top part of the envelope itself, which will be this right here. Okay, so what we're going to do with that, I have two pieces here. I have this piece here, which is the envelope top, the inner top, and then I have these two smaller pieces that we will put on that. Now this piece is going to run face down. They're going to be face down on here together. We're just going to put it down the side. Let's see. This is a tossed. These are tossed Eiffel Towers. So I'm just kind of looking at it to get an idea of where I think I might want to put this for the right sides up for the envelope. Okay, let me check that. Okay, so we are going to sew this down here, right sides together, down one side. Now I turn my stitch length down to a 1.8 just because I feel like it makes a little bit tighter stitch, and I just like how it looks. And you can do whatever you want, but that's what I like to do. So we're going to sew this piece down on here, down one side of the first square. And I have a quilt square going over here. I've been making these small 9-patch blocks using 1.5-inch squares, and I use them as leaders and enders for when I am quilting, and it works really well, and it's a great way to use up your spare fabric. So we're going to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to iron this down so it will be out like this. Iron this down really quick. Okay. We're ironing to the dark side, which is what the directions call for. Then we're going to take our next piece, and these are going to make, as I said, the top corner of the envelope. Now this piece is going to go like this across the top corner, and then when they're out, they will look like this, and it will look like the top corner of the envelope. Now, if you want to, you can pin these down. There's nothing wrong with pinning. I got a lot of pins here. I'm all about a pin, so don't even worry about that. If you decide that you want to pin your fabric down, please do. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And I'm pinning mine just a little bit to hold it in place. I've got my leader in there so that my fabric doesn't get all bunched up. Because sometimes what will happen is when you start, if you don't have a leader in there, it goes because it gets caught and because it pushes it down. Your needle can push your fabric down into the feed dogs, and then you got a problem. And then your fabric is all bunched up on the corner, and if you're short on fabric when you start your project and you don't have enough to cut another one, that could be a problem. Okay, so we're just going to go all the way to the end here, and we're going to put another end piece in there. Just like that. Just put those together like that. And you can do these any size you want. I was working on one quilt for one person because I make quilts for other people sometimes. And I was using leaders and unders and 2-inch squares, cut it 2.5. I made an entire quilt for a friend with those. And it worked out fantastically. So, and then you have your piece here with your leader on there, and you can just cut that off. And I'm going to iron this out. I'm going to iron out my leader as well. Now, I steam a lot. If you don't steam, that's fine. That's your choice to steam or not steam. You know, that's up to you. There. Okay. Now, here is the top of our envelope. Now, our next step, which I have already pre-cut, the large square here. This was a large 7-inch square, and I had to cut it on an angle. And what it's going to do is it's going to, we're going to have 2 triangles which create the bottom part of the envelope. Now, what that's going to be is this right here. This part right here on the envelope. Okay? Now, what they want you to do is you want to put it face down on your project with a 1/2 inch sticking out up here at the top. You want a 1/2 inch up here because you need that in order for it to be square because of the way you have to cut your fabric to make the triangle. So we are going to place 1 triangle at the right side edge of the piece, the first piece, and make sure that the triangle overlaps by 1/2 inch on the top edge before stitching. Okay, so I'm going to turn that over. And I'm going to measure and make sure that that overlaps by a 1/2 inch. Okay, so we have this overlapped by 1/2 inch from here up to here. And I'm going to sew down here to the bottom of my square, down here at the bottom. And you want to be careful when you're sewing this because it is because of the way your envelope square is cut on the diagonal, it puts that on the bias. And so it's going to want to stretch a little bit, so you just got to be careful. So you don't stretch it when you're sewing it together. Okay, now we are going to finger press this out before we've got our first envelope piece on here, and we're going to finger press this down so that it is you can make that little fold up here at the top. So because you're going to be working with that a little more, and you want it to lay nicely and not be stretched out too bad. And it says to finger press towards the darker side of the envelope before pressing with an iron, taking care not to stretch the fabric. So I'm going to iron that down now. Okay. Now we're going to repeat this process on this other side over here, making sure to overlap the triangle by 1/2 inch, like this. Then we're going to trim, let's see. Okay, first we need to trim off this excess fabric here, and we're going to make this straight right down here and trim that off. So let me do that really quick. Okay, now we've got that trimmed off. So now we can put this piece on, and this piece is going to go on here like this, right sides together. And it says overlap 1/2 inch on each end. So if I measure one at 1/2 inch, the other end will be 1/2 inch. And that's perfect. I got that perfect. That's excellent. That's excellent. So I'm going to pin that down on there. So we're going to put that on there on the 1/4 inch. And the other day I had a funny thing happen. I've been having trouble with my bobbin thread. It's been all wonky and crazy and I never had a problem before, and all of a sudden, and ever since I bought this machine, my bobbin has bounced around in there, like made really weird noises, and like it was bounced. You could see it bobbing around in there, and I'm like, what is wrong with my machine? And I could never figure it out. My machine is a Singer Quantum Stylus 9960, and I could never figure it out. And the other day I said, I'm going to go on YouTube and see if I can figure out what's up with my bobbin thread. Well, I found this one gal on YouTube, and she has the same machine I have, and she actually showed how to adjust your bobbin tension. I've always been terrified of that, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this thing. So I took the bobbin out, I took the case out, and there's a little screw on there. I turned the screw, like she said she had to turn it quite a bit. So I just crank. First time I was like, we're just going rogue, you know. So I did it. It's so quiet now, and the seam is so nice. I'm like, I did it twice. I actually did it once, and I still wasn't happy with it. So I did it again, and I'll be darned, it worked. I was like, oh my goodness, it worked. Because I was going to take my machine into the guy, because I was like, I don't know if you can see that seam. Look how beautiful that is. And it's still like not perfect, but you know, it's like 85% better than it was. And I'm just so happy. I did it all by myself. I didn't have to take it to the guy. Woohoo! Saved myself about $80 or $90. Press and trim. Let's see. Repeat this process on the remaining side. Overlap the triangle by 1/2 inch. Stitch. Press and trim. The envelope should be 7.5 inches. So let's see. Let me iron it and we'll have a look. Now remember, this is on the bias. So if you're going to make this block, you're just going to want to be kind of careful when you iron it, you know, because it's on the bias and you don't want to stretch that fabric out too much. So I have some little dog ears on here that I'm going to trim off. But this is the base of our envelope. Isn't that super cute? Now I've got a couple little dog ears, one down here, one over here. I do believe I'm supposed to trim those off, so I'm going to do that. Bring this back up here again. And I'm going to use my small Creative Goods ruler. This is I bought this at my local quilt shop. It's a Creative Grids 2.5 by 6.5 inch ruler. There. Got that. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so we're going to finish the background. We had a 4.5 inch square of fabric that I cut in half diagonally, and that goes on the top right here. This was a 4.5 inch square that I cut in half diagonally, and here's the fabric. Isn't that cute? It's a real cute paisley print with gray. I just love it. It's so cute. And so we're going to put these, place one of the triangles of fabric C at the top of the envelope with 1/2 inch overlapping on each edge. So it has to go like this. It's going to go on here like this across the top. And I don't have it lined up perfectly yet, but it's going to be a 1/2 inch hanging over on each edge. So we're going to line that up. Now you want to make sure that your fabric is right sides together when you do this. Make double, triple sure that it's right sides together, because you hate to pull out Jack. I hate Jack. I do not like working with him. He is not my friend. He never will be my friend. So you want to make sure that you do that. And, you know, sometimes you have fabrics that there really is no right or wrong side. You know, if it's like just plain white or just plain gray or black. Sometimes there may be, if there's a little bit of a grain, like a brush on one side, like if it's a brushed suede or something like that. But I mean, if it's just cotton and it can go either way, you know, you have that a lot too. So, okay, we have this pinned on here with our 1/2 inch on each edge, pinned on there across the top of your envelope. And we're gonna sew that down on the 1/4 inch. And again, you've got your piece, your small square, that's the gray paisley, that is cut on the bias. So you want to be careful. You don't want to pull and haul on it too much, because you could run into a problem. Okay, there we go. All right. Press and trim and repeat with the other side. So we're going to press this out. We're going to press to the light. Okay, and that is the top of the envelope. So we're going to press that out and just be gentle with it. If you set your seam, that helps. All right. And we're going to trim off that dog ear. I have this little dog ear sticking out right up here. We're going to trim that off. Okay. Now we have our envelope like this. Now we're going to put this other side on over here with this other piece that we have right here. Right sides together. 1/2 inch sticking out on either edge. looks about right. Now you could sew this on either side, like this side or this side, either side. But because I want to be able to see my ends sticking out of the gray paisley, and I think I would have a better hold on it, I'm going to sew on this side. This is such a cute block. I was really looking forward to getting it. Like I said, I ordered it. I think I need a leader on there. I ordered it from a live, from a Reb Fab Stash live. And it was actually from a previous stash box. Now, they have a really nice monthly stash box that they did, and I got that for a while, but I did not get it long enough to get the Love Letters from Paris block. I did get some other blocks, which I will do on future videos. If you're interested, we can certainly do those. They're really cute, and I thought it would be fun, you know, to just do like random blocks and there we go. And put those maybe together in something eventually. I know people have a lot of like what they call orphan blocks. And I do have some in there because I worked on a quilt that I designed myself. I started out with the 2022 Riley Blake. It was like a mystery block of the month, and you got your blocks, sometimes 1 or 2 a month from them, and you would download them. It was a free thing you did. You just had to go buy your fabric and download your pattern from Riley Blake, and they do it every year. And it was the 2022 one, and I did the quilt top. Then I decided I think it was like a queen, and then I decided I wanted to make it a king, and I wanted to do like a after quilt on the back. I've seen that done by several content creators. Karen Brown, Just Get It Done Quilts. She's wonderful. I love you, Karen. She does after quilts, and I watched her, and I'm like, I could do that. So I designed and made my own after quilt using Adele and Autumn fabric. Oh, it's so beautiful. You wouldn't believe it. If you're really into autumn colors, greens, golds, I was seeing stars. It was so beautiful. I bought all that from Reb Fab Stash. I think it was their Black Friday sales. She had a really great deal going, and I got some fabric on her live, and then I went on her website and got the rest of the fabric from their Black Friday sale and made my own after quilt on the back. And it's like when you flip it over, it's a total opposite of what's on top. Now, what's on top is blues, white, and brown, which, I mean, the brown, okay, kind of gives you that flip over to the back. And then I did the after quilt on the back, and it's actually out in my dining room right now, ready to go on the machine to start quilting. I finally got it put together. Oh, look at that. Lining right up. I'm so excited. And I got it ready to quilt. So I need to iron this leader, or this ender, so that I can put it under the needle. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of myself. I have made quilts for my granddaughters and other family members, and I'm just so proud of them. It's a real accomplishment, especially when you're doing your own and you're just like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And let me just tell you, I'm not a math person. And the math really gets under my skin. It really does. It really gets under my skin. But, so anyways, so there's that. And now we've got this. So I'm going to iron this down and we'll see where we're at. Here we are. This is the beginning. Okay, well, it's halfway done. So we're going to take this dog ear off and this one, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to get my little wheel here, and I'm going to cut these dog ears off of here for me. Okay. There. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. I just love it. Oh, I got some strings here. Oh, I swear. We wouldn't be sewing if we didn't have strings, right? Isn't that cute? So cute. Okay, so now the next step is we have our edges for our block. These are the edge pieces, and these again are the paisley, the gray paisley. These are the smaller ones. These are 1 3/4 by 7.5. We're going to put these on the top and the bottom. Moment of truth. We'll see if they fit. And you know, I swear, I feel like no matter how hard I try, they say measure twice, cut once. Yeah, in my world, I measure about 4 times and then I cut. And then it still ain't right sometimes. So, you know, I'm not a math person. I am not. I don't profess to be. I don't think I ever will be. So, and one thing you can do is this is just a little short right here on the end. So here's a trick of what you can do. You can take this and come to your edge, pull it to the edge, pin it where it matches up on the edge, as long as you don't have too big of a gap. If your end piece is really short, you're either going to have to add on to it, or you're going to have to add on to it, or you're going to have to cut a new piece. And then you can just see I got a little gap right there. You just go pink, just give it a little stretch, and it will comply as long as you don't have a big piece on there, or a big gap rather. So I'm going to sew these 2 ends on here and we'll be back. Okay, so I have the first one sewed on. I know I said I was going to sew both and be back, but I thought, you know, I'm just going to do them one at a time and we'll just do this together. I got my camera plugged in here. Sorry about that. My camera's plugged in. So I'm going to iron this down. I'm going to set my seam. And I'm going to iron this down towards the light. Not that that's exactly what the directions say, but that's what I'm doing. One thing you can be mindful of is if you are ironing your fabric, and you have a really dark fabric next to a really light fabric, you want to just think about how you're ironing it, because if it is super dark and it could show through, you know, this is not showing through. I didn't expect it would, but it could, you know, and you don't want that to happen and go to all that work on a quilt or something and have your fabric showing, you know, your dark fabric showing through. That could be pretty upsetting. So, okay, we're going to put the top on now, because I don't want to lose my point, and I could. I think I'm going to, but we'll see how it works out when it comes out on the other side. But, let me see, there we go. And sometimes you got to move your fabric a little bit. Yeah, I might have hit that point. That's okay. I'm not going to fret too much about it. And I did have to stretch my fabric a little bit on this side too to make it work. Like I said, I measure, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. But, you know, we're all learning. We're all in this together. So let's not get too upset about it. I need another green one. I've got, this is my Adele and Autumn fabric from my, these are the Adele and Autumn fabrics, with the brown. This is leftover brown from the top of the Riley Blake quilt. And I have blues, the blues up there, and there was 3 shades of blue and that were on the front of the quilt. And then the Adele and Autumn on the back. There's Adele in spring, and I think Adele in summer, and Adele in autumn, and oh, they're so beautiful. And they're by Riley Blake. I think they're a Riley Blake fabric. I can't remember the name of the designer of the fabric. I just remember it was Riley Blake and Adele and Autumn. Gosh, I should have thought of that before I started this video, but I just didn't think of it. So let me iron this and we'll have a look. Okay. Now we've got this far. Okay. Trying not to overrun my cord here. I need about 5 minutes and then I can unplug it. So, and now we've got our longer pieces here. These are 3 inches by 12 inches. And we have 2. And these as well are the paisley. And these are going to go on the long edges. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty good. Pretty good. It's a little short, but I think I can make it work. Yeah, I don't know how I manage that. I don't know how I manage that, honest to Pete. I just don't know. You try and try and try, and it still doesn't come out right. Oh, but we're going to pin this on like we did before. We're going to pin it on the edges. And then one other thing you can do is once you get it pinned on the ends, you get it secured. And then when if you have to pull it, now see, I have a little bit more here. I don't know how I manage that. I cut this so carefully the other day. And when you give it a little pull and you lay it down, put your fingers on it, get a hold of it, and then pin in the center. Okay. Then if you need to, you can give it another little tug, pin. Because the fabric has a little bit of give to it. And sometimes that little bit is all you need. All you need to make it work. Now I'm going to pin both sides of this at once. See? Look at. Worked. Okay. I'm going to turn it around. And we're going to put this piece on this side. Right sides together. Make sure. Double check. Double check. That's a long seam to have to take it out. That's at least, it says 12 inches, but we'll see. See, now this one, I don't know. This one fits. I don't know what happened on the other side. I don't know. I get distracted, you know, the dogs and the cell phone and all the things. And, you know, if you have children and they're coming in, they're like, Mom, 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 Mom. Oh, my goodness. My husband used to tell my children, he would say, I'll give $5 if we were going somewhere to the one who can go the longest without saying, Mom, in the car. Oh, my goodness. My son lost every time. He was the first one. First odd man out. Every time. Poor kid. So, but the girls, it was a battle between them. And one of them would always wind up. They would forget. And they'd be like, Mom. And Mike would be like, you lose. Oh, that was so funny. Kids are so hilarious. Okay, so we're going to sew these sides down on the 1/4 inch. Now I have the Lori Holt Easy Sew little thingy here. I'll show you. I have this little guy here on my sewing machine, and this works really well. There's a couple little things about it that I'm like, meh, but it works okay. I did order some of that washi tape that has the 3 lines on it. I got it from Cotton Cuts. It's coming. It should be here any time. And I'm going to try that on here and see if I like that any better, because my thing is my bobbin is right there. So every time I have to change my bobbin, I have to take this off. And if your bobbin's in the front of your machine, like some of the Jukies have the bobbin in the front, that would be great. But for me, this is a little bit of a hassle. We're sewing the sides onto this. They are 3 by 12. And we're sewing these on here. I'm going to put another thing on this ender. But I would be curious to know what you think of the Lori Holt Easy Sew Guide. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you think it's great, if you don't think it's great. You know, I'd like to know what you think. That would be wonderful. I mean, it's okay, but like I said, it gets in the way when I have to change my bobbin. And so I'm like... because every time I have to change my bobbin, I have to take it off. Put it back on, realign it, take it off, put it back on, realign it. And that's a little bit of a hassle. I mean, it's fine. It works good. It does the trick, but it's just, I'm so worried about not getting it straight. And then my seams are off because it's not straight, you know. So I did put a mark on my machine with a black dot with a marker. And, I mean, that works. It's okay. It does the job. But, I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to try the washi tape. And I'm going to see how I like that. I ordered that from Cotton Cuts, where I get my quarterly Modern Maker subscription box. And, I think I'm going to lose that point, too. Shoot. Oh, well. We won't sweat the small stuff. It's okay. This too shall pass. And we shall be fine. Okay. All right. Now we have our 2 sides sewed on. Just folding them over and ironing them. Oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? Now, the last step is our heart. Here's our heart, and it goes right there. So now the way to do this is, like I said, I already put, oh, there's my letter. I already put the steam seam on the back. It's sticking to that. Okay. And then you peel the grid paper off. Peel the grid paper off, and you can see the steam seam on there. That's the shiny right there. Okay, peel that off. Then this is a little sticky. See, it's a little sticky. So then I'm going to place this on my envelope where I want it. Okay, and then you just hold the iron on it for like count to 10. Move the iron, count to 10. Done. And it's sticking enough that you can sew it. And it should stick for a while. I mean, you shouldn't have to worry. You should be able to put it away and come back to it in a couple of days if you're busy, and it should still be on there. That's how it works, and it's super easy to work with. Like I said, I've been using it for a while. I did a big quilt for my one granddaughter, and it had a lot of applique on it, and it worked fine. So now, you want to turn the steam off on your iron. You want to have a dry iron. No steam, dry. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down, and I'm going to put my heart on here on the bottom of the envelope. There. Now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now I got to turn it. I'm just going to, because I got the bottom, the little bottom corner of the heart. I want to make sure that it sticks on there. There. Stuck. Stuck, 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 stuck. Not going anywhere. It's on there. It's stuck on there. It's not going anywhere. Isn't that cute? You can reposition it if you have to. I have done that. Like, see, it's sticking. Like when you have, like, animal eyes or... I mean, I've done some really, like, kind of intricate based on Annie's book here. Based on this book again. We'll go back to this book really quick. The Ultimate Applique Reference Tool. And it's spiral bound. And I got it at Joann Fabrics. Okay. I'll look and see if this is on Amazon. And if it is, I will put it in the notes below. And then if you want to use my link to purchase one for yourself, if you would like it. It's got a lot of really great stuff in here. I read it and looked at it. And it also has, she's got designs in the back. Designs in the back. And look at these. Look at that. That's applique. She did that. Look at that. I mean, her stuff is in show quality. Show quality applique. That's not my wheelhouse. But, you know, I followed her directions. Started with this very simple little design right here. This was the first one I did. Flower on top of a flower with an eye in the middle. It looked horrible the first time. The first few times you do it, you need to practice. Okay, I highly recommend practice, practice, practice. But once you do, it gets easier. Totally gets easier. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna have to change my presser foot because I have my quilting presser foot on here. Okay, this is the presser foot that I need. It's my satin foot for my Singer. And it's called Presser Foot B, and it's the satin. It's called satin foot or something like that. I gotta get that on there. Oh, there we go. Okay, and we're on stitch 22, which is my blanket stitch from my sewing machine. Okay, and we want a 4.5 stitch width and a 1.0 stitch length. Okay, this is the screen for my Singer sewing machine. We are on stitch 22 with the B, which is my satin presser foot, and we want a 4.5 stitch width and a 1.5 stitch length. Okay, so now we're at 5.0. 4.5 stitch length is going to be 1.0. Okay, that's where I want to be for my blanket stitch on my Singer with the B satin stitch presser foot. And that's what I have on there right now. Okay. Okay, so I turned the machine, or I turned my camera a little bit. I'm hoping that I can give you a little better view of how this works. Now, when you sew around an applique piece, you just go slow. Just go slow, follow your curves around, and you want to pivot here and down here. And what I do is I just go real slow and I get as close as I can to where it needs to be, and then I pivot. And I usually try to start on a straightaway, and that makes it a little easier. And you can use like different colors of thread. Like I could very easily make this like the gray-green to match, or gray to match the paisley, or pink to match the heart, or if the heart is red, you know, whatever. But what you're doing, this is raw edge applique, okay, because my edges are not turned under, okay? This is raw edge applique, which means that I'm sewing down the raw edge of the fabric, okay? So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put my presser foot down, and I'm gonna just start my needle when it's on the outside, okay, the outside, of your fabric, like your fabric is here and your needle comes down here. You want it to come down at the edge of your fabric. Okay, and then as your blanket stitch crosses over, it will cover the edge of your fabric. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, that looks good. And we're going to just go right along here. Now now that I got this going, I'm going to turn my camera around and I'm going to try and show you a little bit about, I'm going to show you how this works a little bit. Okay, so I've started the machine up a little bit. Now I'm going to try and do this. Let's see. See there? It's coming down right next to the fabric. Right next to the fabric. And you just follow your fabric around and go slow. And it will work just fine. And then when you get down to the bottom, near the edge, I know this is a little blurry. It's having a little trouble focusing. There. Now, oh, yeah, it's having trouble focusing. I'm sorry about that. I tend to want to get closer to the machine so I can see what I'm doing. Now we're almost down to the bottom, so we want to go real slow, because we're right down here, right down by that point. And we want to go real slow. We're almost there. There. Now, we're right down at the bottom of the heart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my presser foot and I'm going to turn it just a little. Because what I want to do is I want to tack down that bottom corner, that bottom end of that heart. A little more. There. Okay, now we're going to turn it. There, see how that looks? That, let's see, come on, focus. That's my blanket stitch right there. Now that's a little wide, okay? Now see, I've got my stitch width at 4.5. Now I could make it smaller. You can. That's why you want to do a couple practice stitches, but I'm fine with that. That's fine. I think that looks fine. So now we're going to go, there we go. We're going to come right on up around the edge of our heart. Let's back it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, now we are going to continue to applique this heart down really quick. It'll only take a couple minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and run through this. Now, like I said, I highly suggest practicing with applique. Now we're coming around the curve of the heart. And the blanket stitch goes forward a couple, then over, then forward a couple, then over. So you've got like 2 stitches to make up your mind if you want to stop or continue on around. And we're about 3/4 of the way around now. There, no, I need to turn a little more. And sometimes, you know, depending on how tight your curve is, you're only going to want to go a couple of stitches and then you're going to have to turn it, depending on how tight or how small or how big your item is that you're appliquing down. And this is so cute. I mean, this adds such a great and then it will go, there we go. So it adds such a great dimension to your projects. When I did my granddaughter's quilt, she was so excited. Every square had a different thing that meant something to her and I. Like, my daughter gave me, I don't know if I still have it here. I don't. I moved it. She gave me a pattern that had a little travel trailer on it. And we go camping. And when Kendall saw the camper on there, she knew. Okay. And she knows that Grandma feeds the birds. And I did one with birds and a bird bath. And then I did one because she goes to church with me sometimes. I did one of a little church house. Oh, that one was super cute. And a lot of those ideas I got out of that book from Annie. And they were just so cute. Okay, we're almost to the center of the There. I'm going to turn it. I'm down in the middle of the part of the heart that comes down like this in the center. And when you get really good at this, you'll be able to put your stitches so they go right down in the middle of that heart. Where it comes down like this, you're going to go right down in there, and it's going to be like, yes, it's going to be perfect, and you're going to be so excited because, like I say, and I made flowers. Oh my gosh, you should see the flowers. They were so adorable. And I think, actually, on my community tab, if you go to my community tab, there is a post on there where I put pictures of 3 quilts I made for my granddaughters, and I think Kendall's is on there. If you want to see the applique, you can go to the community tab and have a look at that. And I would love to know what you think. I'd love to see if you like the ideas or what. And I will put, I can actually do a community tab post of the 2 books that I have. This one from Annie and the other one, the big applique book. That one is like, you need to buy that book if you want to learn how to applique. Her book is wonderful. I highly recommend her. Like I said, she had a small YouTube channel. She wasn't doing a lot on it. If I can find her, I can link her YouTube channel. And you can even look at her old videos. I mean, even if she's not doing anything anymore. There, too. Now we got to turn some more. And we're almost done. We're almost to the end. And just overlap it a little bit. I would overlap like a few stitches because that locks it. And then you're all set. Okay, we're going to turn the camera back here a little bit. We're going to have a look. I'm so excited. This is so cute. Oop. Turned off my... There we go. Okay, so... There it is. Love Letters from Paris. Let's see, what is it? Love Letters 2. Love Letter to Paris. Isn't that adorable? How cute is that? And there's the applique heart. Isn't that sweet? So cute. And I got a little string there I can take off. That's a little string from the pink. But you see, like, I'm not afraid to admit our mistakes. Like right there on the pink, you see where it didn't go down into the center of the heart? It's because I was talking and I wasn't really looking, but I could make that happen. So, yeah. Isn't that cute? It's a cute block. Super cute. And it finishes at 12 by 12. And it's the patterns. I got the pattern off of the Reb Fab Stash Live video. And it's super easy to do. I think we've been here about an hour and with me talking and everything. And I cut the fabric out the other day. Perfect. Perfect. I'm so happy you were here today to share this video with me. And I hope that you will try and make your own Love Letters to Paris block. And I would love to know what you think. And like I said, I'm a Reb Fab Stash affiliate. If you would like to know more about this block and other things that Rebs have to offer, you can follow my link to their webpage. So that's all I have for now. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. And I hope that you'll be back for future videos. So this is Grandma D saying bye-bye for now.